Okay, it's wanting me to lock to one. Hold on, it is insane. Hold on. Oh my god. Of course, I'm having technical difficulties. Hi guys, GearheadBryan. I'm trying to figure this out. 1 second. Why can I not flip the camera? Okay, guys. Hey guys, GearheadBryan. We're going to be filming like this apparently, because my camera does not want to flip the other way. That is very interesting. Huh. Very interesting. 1 second. 1 second. Hey guys, GearheadBryan, and I'm still trying to figure out the camera situation. For some reason, it's locked in the normal mobile phone, so I apologize in advance. But how's it going? The Sorch legend. Hey, how's it going, Aaron Scott? Appreciate it, man. If you guys are new to the live stream, I am pretty much do these live streams every single Friday, and I go on about, what's the best tips and tricks. I answer all of your guys' questions that may be in the chat. Hey, how's it going, Mark Olson? Really awesome to see you back here again in the chat. Chat, let me know if this angle camera right now it's in mobile angle, if it's bothering you guys that much. Honestly, it's kind of annoying for me. But yeah. But yeah, guys, welcome to the live stream. If you're just joining for the first time, be sure to drop any of your questions that you may have, whether it's about mechanic questions, whether about working on cars, whether it's about tools, tips, tricks, whatever you may be, let me know what it is. Hey, how's it going, Jorge? That's what's up. But yeah, guys, go ahead and start dropping your questions. And none of you guys have any questions at the moment, I'll go ahead and answer some of my segmented questions in this paper that I accumulated over the few days and months. But go ahead and start dropping your questions so we can go ahead and start, getting into this live stream. So, yeah, really happy to see you guys here. Happy Friday. How's it going, Jorge? How's it going, Mark? How's it going, Aaron? Really nice to see you guys here in the live stream. Really awesome, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a good Friday. As you guys join in, be sure to drop where you guys are watching from. Oh, what's my daily driver? It's a 2025 Honda Civic Type R. Pretty fun car. Really, really fun car. If you guys are ever, on the fence, thinking if you want to get that type of car, really awesome car. Makes a great daily. Really love it. Nice. Aaron, it's awesome, Aaron. Nice to see you. Appreciate it, Ricardo. But yeah, guys, feel free to start dropping your questions, and we'll go ahead and get into it. If you have no questions, I'll start answering some of these. Let me see what question. Mine's a 1985 Toyota 4Runner and a 2007 TC. Both of those are really awesome cars, man. Really awesome cars, especially because they're both Toyota. So I've worked on, I don't think I've ever worked on an 85 4Runner, so those are pretty awesome. I think my coworker actually has one of them. They're really cool. I forgot what year his is, though. I think it might be a 2000s 4Runner or whatever. I don't know what year. Where should I advertise my car business in Los Angeles? Online, man. I mean, if you're a social media person, like if you're into the TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that, you can just, do it online, But you could also just do it on Facebook. You could post into certain groups on Facebook, join groups and post that, you're doing service and working on cars and this and that. So I'd say, just do that. And then whatever customer you do get, it's good to work with word of mouth. So if they tell you, you did a good job, they'll tell their cousin will be like, hey, I need work. Or their brother says, hey, I need to work. So you really want to work by word of mouth, especially in the beginning if you're starting to do, mobile work or mobile mechanic work, whatever it may be. So be sure to join, Facebook profiles for mechanics and stuff like that. So Facebook groups for mechanics. I'm tweaking. Hey guys, if you're just joining in, be sure to drop any questions that you may have, guys. It could be about tools. It could be about anything. It could be about your car. It could be about any tips for just joining into the industry. It could be any of it. So if you have a question, be sure to go ahead and drop it below, and I'll be happy to answer it, you know, as we start to go on. So if you guys don't have any, I'll go ahead and start answering this. Here, let's see. Where you want it? Route 4. All right. Sorry if I saw one. All right, so if you guys have no oh, there you go. What is your opinion on jack stands? So Jason's question is, what is your opinion on jack stands? Guys, I highly always recommend that you guys use jack stands. My opinion on jack stands is you always use it. It doesn't matter if you're under the car for 5 seconds, a minute, 2 hours. You always want to use jack stands, and you always want to have a backup as well, you know. I've never had a jack stand fail on me personally, but you always want to think ahead of the time as well. But use a jack stand. Jacks are not meant to support the car and always, you know. Sometimes jacks fail, sometimes they lose pressure. So I've had jacks when you raise the car, it'll slowly lower down because one of the seals is bad. A lot of that stuff happens. So generally, you guys, you want to make sure that you're using jack stands whenever you can. And jack stands aren't that expensive. They're really cheap. So, hey, how's it going, Minty? Really nice to see you in the chat. How's it going, Ford? Nice to see you drop a emoji comment. Let's go. Nice. But, hey, guys, I see you guys joining in. Ask me some questions, and we'll go ahead and start digging more into it, you know. Any questions, it could be about anything, whether it's mechanics, again, whether about tools, tips, or tricks, whatever it may be, I'm happy to answer it, you know. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pick a question on this paper right here. And let's see what we got. What we got here. We got... Sorry. Where the heck is this one question I saw? I just saw it. All right, so what's the, starting out as a mechanic, I always get this often, what's the best way to start out as a mechanic? Now, a lot of people, there's plenty of routes to go with if you're just starting out as a mechanic. You can go to traditional route is, you know, generally kind of learning on your own, just learning as you gain experience, just learning a job as you go on. Now, the best general way to learn as a mechanic, as someone who's starting out, learn as an apprentice. So learn under someone who's well experienced and has a lot of experience in the field. You know, generally a any journeyman or a master mechanic, whatever it may be, you want to be an apprentice and learn under someone who knows plenty, so they can guide you on things of what not to do, things on what to do. You can learn from their mistakes. You can learn, you know, they can help you and guide you and push you towards the route you need to go. Now, if you don't have that available, there's plenty of ways to learn. Obviously, YouTube's a great place to learn on how to work on cars, how to become a mechanic, things of that nature, how to learn some tips and tricks. Plenty of ways to go about it. There's also the schooling route. The schooling route's a little bit more expensive, but, you know, generally, you know, it's not the worst method. You just got to do research on the school you're going to, because not all automotive schools are created equally. A lot of them are, in my opinion, scammy. But there's a lot of good schools out there. So regardless of which way you go, there's plenty of ways to go about it, you know. You can even go to the junkyard and go into the junkyard and start working, you know, taking apart stuff, putting it back together, and learn that way. So how's it going, Carson? TGIF, I almost missed this live. Oh, man. I'm glad you made the live. That's awesome, man. All right, we got a couple questions that I missed. Let's see. First question is from Minty Fresh, and I'm not gonna say the rest of that name. What's your thoughts on gearless ratchets and wrenches? I've never seen a gearless wrench. However, a gearless ratchet is awesome. I've seen stuff from Ulsa Tools. They sell some gearless ratchets. I think Astro sells them. I'm not sure. I think they do. But gearless ratchets are awesome. You're not going to use them all the time. Keep this in mind. You're not going to use a gearless ratchet all the time. It's for getting into a very tight spot that you can barely ratchet in. If you guys don't know what a ratchet is, a gearless ratchet is essentially, let's say you're in a spot where it's like barely any room. Just let's say this amount of room, and you can get your ratchet in there, but you don't have a lot of swing room. Now, the gearless ratchet, you'll go ahead and barely ratchet it, just like this, and it'll semi out that bolt little by little. It's very little, but it's going to help you simming it out so you don't have to take out a bunch of other parts, especially for things like the dash. So gearless ratchets are really a game changer. Now the next question is, Ford Henry says, how long have you been wrenching? I've been wrenching for about 7 years, technically. Yeah, so that's how long I've started out, you know. So not too long, not too little. Good in between, good Goldilocks, you know. How long have you been wrenching, Ford Henry? Bravo Django says, how do I inspect a CV axle that looks good on the outside? It's a Prius and it rumbles when going uphill. Honestly, I think it just sounds like if if the CV axle's making noise when you're going uphill or turning, especially clicking, you just need to replace that axle. Generally, if an axle is bad or going bad, there will be a hole in the boot, or it'll be leaking out grease out of that boot. You know. Now, if it was freshly, let's say if you just got the car, or whatever, or if it was just freshly, like they put a new axle boot on there, it was probably already going bad and they just replaced the boot because they saw the boot torn. But generally, the boots start leaking, and that's when you know, because when the boots leak out grease, they get dry. They run dry and they'll start, they'll go bad. So generally, when you see them leaking, you generally know 90% of the time they're already bad or going bad because they're not having any grease to lubricate them as they're turning and trying to do their thing. Okay. 2000 is the best era quality for cars. Okay. Before I answer that, let me see what everyone in the poll says. So far, everyone in the poll, actually, I can see on my phone. Oh, on my phone, it's a lot easier. Hold on. Because before I can see on my phone. But, okay, so for the best car year, we got, right now, 2000s to 2010 is leading. And second place is 80s to 90s. Last place is 2010s and current. That's crazy. Everyone hates the current stuff. And 80s to under is second to last. Now, what was 2000s is the best air quality? It depends on the brand. I'd say it depends on the brand, honestly, because I'd say it depends on the brand. And if we're talking about interior, exterior, it depends on that stuff. Because, like, yes and no. Yes and no. All right. Aaron Scott, me personally, don't like higher teeth ratchet. They seem to strip out faster. For me, probably using them for the wrong thing. But still, LOL. Honestly, Aaron Scott, yeah, I don't use the higher ones often. I'm generally usually like a 72 tooth type of person. So that's generally where I sit. So yeah, a little bit higher is nice, but yeah. I have a couple higher ones, but I don't use them as often. It works like a bicycle brake. Dev Santana says, love your videos. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. BM, I'm just gonna say BM. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen as a mechanic? Okay, this isn't the craziest thing, but the most recent thing... Okay, I'll give you two things. Most recent thing, like literally yesterday, I was dropping the exhaust on the Volkswagen, and the bracket that holds the how do I say it? The bracket that holds the muffler exhaust system to the car, to the chassis, and to the exhaust broke. So somebody took a hose clamp and hose clamped the muffler mount and the muffler together to hold it so it'd stay up. And that thing was, it was really bad. I was like, I was so mind blown. And it was super loose, of course. Of course it was super loose. But it was just insane. It was so rusted that it broke, and that person did that. The other crazy thing is, I had a customer, it was back when COVID was happening. Back then, over there, they were storing water. They had water in the jugs and everything, but they were also storing gas. So they put gas in, their gas containers, but then they took one of their water jugs and filled it with gas. The problem is, when they went to put gas in the car, they mixed it up, and they put a huge jug of water into their gas tank and filled their entire gas tank with water. And I'm like, and they're trying to find out why I wouldn't start. And then they realized they put water. I tried to siphon it out, but I had an anti-siphoning lock on the car. So what I had to do was I took out the fuel rail and I hooked up a tube to the fuel rail. So I kept cycling the gas with the key. So every time I put the key, it would cycle the gas to go. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just siphoned out all the gas, just purging the like that. It was crazy. It was insane. But yeah, that was the craziest thing that happened to me. One of the craziest things, I'd say. But I got it out and I got the car to run. So Honda Civic says, "Hello. Is this the GearheadBryan? Or is this the Gearhead like the Bryan?" This guy. How's it going, Honda Civic? Nice to see you in the chat, man. Remarkable hairdo. Hey, how's it going, man? Happy to see you in the live stream again. Really cool to see a lot of familiar faces. Love seeing you guys here. Now, his question is, okay, more clutch questions. You think it's worth opening the transmission just to change a bad throwout bearing, even if the clutch itself is probably okay? Well, yeah. I mean, if you're not gonna, how to say it? You're not opening up the transmission technically. You're just taking off the transmission. The throwout bearings the throwout bearing is there. You know what I mean? How to say it? So the clutch is here, throwout bearing's here, and then the engine's on this side. You know? So the throwout bearing, every time you engage the clutch, the throwout bearing's in between the clutch. So every time the throwout bearing is generally what touches the clutch to essentially engage it. You know? So yeah, I mean, yes, whenever you do a clutch job, you change out the throwout bearing. You know what I mean? It's just the name of the game. You know, it's just how it goes. But yeah, I'd highly recommend you to change the throwout bearing and the pilot bearing. Pilot bearings are generally for rear-wheel drive cars, though. So, but yeah, I'd change out the throwout bearing, even if the clutch is okay, because that throwout bearing will go bad, really bad, and it will make a lot of it'll mess up a lot of things. So don't drag it out. Salmoti says, "Thanks for the tips, Brian." No problem, man. Hey, I see a lot of you guys just joining in. Be sure to smash that like button if you're enjoying it, but also be sure to drop your questions that you may have, whether it's about mechanics, tools, tricks, tips, whatever it may be. You want to become a mechanic, you like cars, you want to talk about your car, you want to ask me my questions about me, whatever it may be, drop the question down below and I'll be happy to answer it. But again, remember to drop a like on this live stream. Life in the Middle says 80s to 90s rules. Gotta love a car where you can see all the components in the engine bay. Not most reliable, but easiest to work on. I agree. I mean, honestly, there are a good amount of 80s to 90s cars that are reliable, but you got to realize they're very old right now. So they're getting up in their age and they haven't had their parts serviced. A lot of people neglect it. A lot of people haven't done it. So it's not that they're unreliable. It's just that, hey, they're getting into their, they're getting old. You know what I mean? So I have 80s cars, it's pretty awesome. So if you take care of them, they take care of you. I got to have that 90s JDM. Know what I'm saying? Yeah, I get what you're saying, Honda Civic. I know what you're saying. I got to have it too, man. And of the 80s stuff is amazing. True. Yeah, I like 80s stuff. Depending on what car, I do like 80s stuff. My 80s Corolla, I love the interior on that thing. I got an 88 though. Bravo Jingle says, "What do you think is the problem if a Prius rumbles a lot when it goes uphill?" Oh wait, what do you think is the problem? If a Prius rumbles a lot when it goes uphill and there's a lot of pressure on the car, nothing under the drivetrain looks bad. The suspension looks good. Thanks. What do you think is the problem if a Prius rumbles a lot when going uphill? Okay, when you mean by rumble, do you feel a lot of vibration in the suspension, in the steering wheel? Is the car just loud? Is it rumbling loud? Like, give me a little bit more context, because sometimes it could be a bad exhaust, it could be a bad suspension, it could be the car's misfiring, it could be a lot. So yeah. I had to do the same with the 2013 Chevy. Okay. Just had to make sure. Mark Olson says the problem is It is a Prius, Brave. That's messed up, Mark Olson. Priuses are good. I mean, depending on the year, 2013s weren't the best year for Priuses, but Prius was good. Mateo says, hi, bro. How's it going, man? How's it going? BM says, another question. Which brand customer who never changes the oil? That's a good question. I want to say BMW. BMW, Audi, No, scratch BMW and Audi. It's Volkswagen. Volkswagen and Audi. I see those the most common. They don't change their oil. They don't check their oil. And that's why 90% of them blow their engines because they don't check their oil, you know. So those are the top most ones that never do oil changes on it. That and some like Toyotas or Hondas. Mainly, when I mean some, it's like people think they're bulletproof completely and they'll just never, ever change the oil because they're like, it's fine. It's a Honda, it's a Toyota, it'll run forever. And that's just not how it works, you know? Let's see, another question. All right, Remarkable Hairdo says, not as much of a technical question, but curious what you got, curious on, what got you into cars and what made you become a mechanic? What got me into cars is my dad. My dad's, he's always been a car guy. He always, racing cars. He was always working on cars, fixing, his own personal cars. His father is a mechanic as well. My uncle's a mechanic. So, I liked cars because my dad was a car painter, and I just kind of got into work on cars because of him, So whenever he did something, I did something, So it's kind of that thing. Then I also got my project car at 16. It was 1988 Toyota Corolla Coupe. So I had to get that car running. I wanted it as a parts car. Me and my dad worked together to get that car running. So that car is what got me into the industry. It got me into working on cars. I didn't have money to send it to somebody, so I had to work on them myself. So yeah, kind of what got me into the car industry, That and again, my family, some of them being mechanics, some of them liking working on cars. I mean, some of them just liking cars. I loved cars, so I wanted to do something with cars, so that's why I became a mechanic. Obviously now, I like cars still. And I like working on cars to an extent, but there's a lot of things I don't like about it, obviously. Sometimes for some mechanic, it kind of ruins it. Guys, let me know if you're a mechanic, if you're working on cars, let me know if becoming a mechanic ruined cars for you. Because a lot of times, it ruins cars. I mean, it ruins enjoying cars. A lot of times, you don't want to work on your car after work. You don't even want to touch a car anymore. It just kills that love that you have for cars. So, drop it in the chat. Let me know if that happened to you. Drop a yes, if it happened to you. If it, let me know in the chat if that's what's going on. But for me, it almost destroyed, liking cars. But to the point, I still enjoy cars. I still like working on cars to an extent. But there's definitely a lot that I don't like, So, most miles on a CVT transmission that you've seen. I don't know how it was this one Nissan. It made it to, I think it was 340,000. I've seen, yeah, it was a high 300s. It was high 300s. I was surprised that thing was still on the road. I'm not going to lie. Nissan Altimas and Maximas are always hit and miss. Some of them just have the transmission that'll blow up, and then some of them last forever. Hey man. GearheadBryan. Okay, so Chris Ramos says, hey man, I have an E46 and have been watching for a while, but when I accelerate, I hear a slump and audible flutter. Sounds like it's coming from under the exhaust tips. Is there a reason? That's so interesting. A flutter. I don't know what you mean by that. A flutter. What kind of E46 is it, man? Let me know in the comments below. What year, what engine? Let me know what it is. Hey, someone named Brian in the chat. That's awesome. Yeah, I finally made it to your live stream. Score. Hey, happy to have you in the live stream, man. Welcome. Guys, if you are watching the live stream, be sure to drop a like if you're enjoying the live stream. And if you haven't yet, drop a question that you want answered. I'm happy to answer them. I'm going down the chat. I'm going down it as quick as I can. So be sure to drop any questions you may have, and I'll be happy to answer them. It could be about mechanics or anything else, or car stuff. What's up, Echo J? How's it going, man? All right. Honda Civic says, real question. Any shops in Illinois that can extract the remaining R12 from my AC system? I'm planning to fix my AC system again after all the R12 leaked from the compressor. I suspect a worn out O-ring. Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think there's a couple by me. Message me if you have an Instagram, Honda Civic. Message me on Instagram, and I'll try to. I'll ask my. I have a couple of relatives that have some friends, so maybe some of their shops or some of their friend shops have a shop that for sure does it. You know, but I feel like a good amount of shops by me do that. So just message me on Instagram. We'll check it out. Also, I think, I'm trying to remember, I think there's it's ironic. I think there's a shop in Illinois that does it. It's called Gearhead. Gearhead, I think Gearhead Garage, Gearhead something that does it. It's kind of ironic because I'm Gearhead, you know. How's it going, Late Night Survivors? Awesome name. Daniel says, I got one for you. Oil light only comes on at 1500 RPMs. And has PCM mass communication engine code 2015 Dodge Caravan. That's very interesting. Oil light only comes on at 1500 RPMs and has a PCM mass communication. Hey, Daniel, do you happen to have a? I know this might be a stupid question, but do you have a scanner, like one of the, like one of the in-depth scanners, not just the coder scanners, but one of the in-depth scanners that you can plug in and check each individual module? Let me know if you do, because if you do, you can go into specific things to check out what's going on. You can check out, sorry, I'm just reading this other question. But yeah, let me know if in the comments below if you have a scanner so we kind of try to dig into it. You might have to do a little bit digging with some live stream data. Late Night Survivor says, dude, I'm starting up and I'm struggling. Wait, dude, I'm starting up and I'm struggling. Was like that for you when you were new? Yeah, I mean, I was struggling when I was a beginner, I was really, really struggling as a beginner. Cause like it's a lot of struggle. Like you struggle, like the thing is, if you're beginning as a mechanic, you got to realize you're going to get things wrong. You're going to break parts on accident. You're going to take double the time on accident. You're going to run into issues where you're trying to get something done and you just don't know how to surpass it, where you have to ask questions, where you don't know what the next step is, where you have to YouTube something and even YouTube won't help. It's a struggle because you're learning something that's very extensive. Every car is different. Every car you work on is different. Even me and the 7 years that I have working on cars, ongoing 8, it's very like you still learn things every single day because you're working on a different car every single time. You're working on a 2015 Audi, now a 2017 Infiniti, now a BMW, now a Volvo. It's just ongoing. If you're a beginner and you're just getting hit left and right with different makes and different brands and different situations, it's hard, So yes, it's going to be very overwhelming, but you just kind of, the big thing, if you're a beginner, you want to stay patient. You want to be patient. If you're very frustrated with something, take a step back, take an extra 5 minutes, ask somebody, talk to a higher up, a master mechanic, YouTube it, just take a breather and then come back at it with a clear mind. If you just stay frustrated and you keep, hammering away at the problem, you're going to break stuff. You're going to, waste a lot more time that you could have saved by just taking 5 minutes and coming at it with a better, clear mindset. But yeah, for everybody, every beginner, it's, we all struggle. It's just part of the struggle, You got to struggle a little bit to get a lot better. And there's no getting better without the struggle. So, no good mechanic has not struggled. And if they say they haven't, they're lying to you. They're not a good mechanic then. Or they're just lying to you. So, let's say... Daniel, if you had a fresh oil change and new engine oil, a lot of times Oil pressure sensor. It could be. I hate to say it. It could be. You might have low oil pressure. You know, a lot of the times what happens is sometimes in some cars, if you have very low oil pressure, the oil light will come on. You know what I mean? If it's specifically the oil light. Now, if you're talking about the other oil light, like the oil change light, that's obviously different. You want to go into the settings, take that out, wipe it out, obviously. But in other cases, it might be your, you know, you might have low oil pressure, and that could be for a couple things, oil pump or even piston rings, you know. Okay, so the Prius makes loud rumbling noise and it vibrates a lot. The problem seems to come from the front and probably the driver's side. It vibrates a lot and it's a loud rumbling sound. So it could be a couple things. One of them, the flex pipe in the front generally goes bad. It goes bad with a lot of old cars or older cars, or especially Toyotas. The flex pipes just generally go bad. It might have a very small leak. And that leak is even more well known when you're going uphill, because keep in mind, when you're going uphill, you're stretching the car out a lot because you're putting a lot of power, like a lot of stress on the front. You know, you're telling the car, go up the hill, you know, and you're putting a lot of, you know, it needs to work harder when it's going uphill. So, you know, it might be, like I said, the flex pipe. It might be that, it could be a couple other things. It's hard to say over the phone, but I mean, over the phone, you know what I mean. But it could be the flex pipe leaking. If it's rumbling, it could be that the motor mounts are starting to go bad. If it's rumbling that bad, it could be that it's starting to misfire. If it's going, you know, if it's just has that high of a load and you're going uphill and you're really stressing the car out, it could be misfiring a little bit. It's hard to say over YouTube, but it's a good general sense on if it's noise coming like really loud, if it's just a loud vocal noise, for sure check the flex pipe, because generally that's always the noise that you hear from the front. Eco says, tech and training, just finished a semester, 3.7 GPA. Thanks for mechanic tips and tricks. No problem, man. You know, you got this, bro. Keep studying away and stay focused, bro. Biggest thing, if you are training to become a mechanic or a tech in training, everyone's big mistake is they don't stay focused, they mess around, and they don't take it seriously. And why I tell you this is because I am that guy. Back then, and me and my friends were doing a lot of stupid stuff when we were techs in training, when we were studying in automotive field. We did a lot of stupid stuff. A lot of cool stuff. Bro, when we were in college studying for automotive, we were on break. We were drag racing in the parking lot because they had a abandoned parking lot by a Menards. We would drag race in the parking lot. We'd be racing and stuff. We'd be, you know, we'd be in the winter. We'd go on drift sessions. So we do tandems. It was so freaking cool. We did everything. We had car shows. Guys, it was so freaking cool. We messed around too much. I'm not gonna lie. But it was fun. So, but I just wish we took stuff more seriously back then. Because you could have your fun, but you also got to realize, guys, absorb as much information as you can. Don't let all that money go to waste. Screaming Potato, I love the name. Says, love the comment, easy to understand and to the point. Thanks, man. I always try to be easy to the point, straightforward. I like saying, hey, guys, there's a problem. This is how you fix it. Just like getting straight to the point and like helping guys as much as I can. Now, nice, remarkable hairdo says, nice, man. Same here. And when I was a kid, my dad had a 1969 Barracuda convertible, big block, in a showroom condition, and he would put it in car sales and do a lots of car meets. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Hell yeah. My dad had some cool cars like that too, man. That's awesome. Mr. Anonymous says, Audi A3, 3.2, APY, AP1. Wait, what are we talking about, Mr. Anonymous? Is that the car you have? All right, I'm just reading a comment. It didn't ruin it. Okay, remarkable hairdo says it didn't ruin it for me, but I am not a full-time mechanic anymore, but I did about a year ago. I feel you, man. Echo says I have an uncanny love for cars. That's awesome, man. Oh, I think I'm really behind on comments here. Sorry. I'm trying to catch up, guys. Trying to catch up. Just making sure I don't miss anybody. Hold on. Current manufacturer is not. Okay, Corey says he can confirm that it hasn't killed his love for cars, but I don't I don't like working on cars unless I'm getting paid for unless I'm getting paid though. I kind of ruined it in that regard. I get you, man. I get you. Yeah, I mean, unless I'm getting paid really good, you know. But I like working on like my own cars. I enjoy working on my own cars. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy working on some unique cars at my job. I like working on like brands I love working on too. I like pulling engines. I like all that stuff. But for certain jobs, I just hate, especially in the Rust Belt. I just hate. Okay, so Brian says I have a Jetta. I changed my brakes a while ago, and my brake light came on in my dash their day, and I was wondering, was it the same day that it came on? In general, if your brake light came on, most likely it's low on brake fluid. You need to check the brake fluid and then top it off, and make sure the brake's not too spongy. You might need to bleed it out if so. But if the brake light came on, generally it's because you're low on brake fluid. Now, if you're not low on brake fluid, you're going to have to tap in and use a scanner so you can clear that brake light out. It just might be a fault in the system because the car's too new. Or it's just annoying. BM bought a GTI, so now he's a family trader. I feel you, man. Yeah, I feel you there. Oh yeah, Echo J says heat shield might be your problem as well. Person with the Prius. I didn't think about that until now. Anthony says, thanks for sharing your experience and knowledge with us. I would love to see more of AC system fixes. I'll definitely do that because my beautiful fiance, actually has an AC issue with her car. So hopefully I can make some small videos on doing the AC on her car. Also have to do it on this other car I have as well. So I'll be doing plenty of AC videos. So hopefully if I have enough time, I'll record something for you. Audi mechanics missed 5 to 6 missing fuses on under the hood. How is this possible? What? Audi mechanics missed 5 to 6 missing fuses from. So wait, Mr. Anonymous, is he missing? Are you missing 5 to 6 fuses? Or what do you mean? Or that they blew all at the same time? Screaming Potato says you for bleeding brakes you recommend a vacuum bleeder or use the old press to brake method. I honestly rather do the press to brake method. I always hated the at least the cheap vacuum bleeders. I always hated it. I don't know. I was never a fan of it. But as for the other bleeders, vacuum bleeders, yeah. But I'm old school. I'll just do it the standard pressure brake method, And if it's just me, what I'll do is I'll go into, there's 2 methods I'll do. I'll go into the cabin, get a pry bar, depress the brake pedal, put in the pry bar, wedge it so it holds it there, and then I'll open it up and do that. Or I'll get a water bottle, poke a hole into it, get a fish line, a clear fish line, put the line through it, crack it open, and then pump the brakes, So there's plenty of ways to go about it. Guys, if you are just joining in for the first time, be sure to drop a like if you are enjoying the live stream, and drop your questions. Any questions that you guys may have, I'll be happy to answer it. Be patient with me. I am answering it as I go down the list. Don't want to miss anybody's questions, but drop your questions down below. It could be about anything, mechanics, cars, anything about me, whatever it is. Drop a like and then drop your question. All right, let me see how many questions I'm behind. All right, I'm gonna answer some of the new comments and then go back to the old comments. Hi, Brian. Finally got to see you live. Want to ask you a question. Hope you can give me a detailed reply. Hey, Key Mechanic, really happy that you joined in, and be sure to drop the question. I'll try to get to it as quick as I can, okay? So drop the question down below, and I'll try to get to it. Do we change the oil every 3K or every 10K? Ninja, do it, in my opinion, just do it every 5K. Every 5K miles, change it. You know what I mean? You can go to 6K if you want, but do it every 5K miles. If you have the money, or if you just genuinely want to, if it's a very car enthusiastic car, change every 3K, go for it. But personally, just go 5K. Every 5K miles, I wouldn't wait till 10, in my opinion. Hit that like button, everyone. Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, remarkable hairdo. No problem, Ninja. All right, let me go back to any of the old questions. I don't want to miss any of you guys' questions. Let's see. So, Charlie Handsome says 2015 GMC Sierra. Brake stutter when pressed, only at slow movement. If it doesn't do it when I press brakes going fast. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Usually it's the opposite. Usually, do you feel the stutter, Charlie? Do you feel the stutter from the front or from the rear? In general, whenever you get stutter in your brakes, where you feel it's like really like shaking, generally you have a warped rotor. Generally, that's what it is. You have a warped rotor. Maybe you broke too hard one time and it just, the heat kind of warped it, but you most likely have a warped rotor whenever you get brake stutter in the front. But also, just lift the car, take off the wheels, and kind of examine, check everything, make sure, you know, everything's good, nothing's loose, brake caliper's not loose, nothing is loose. Had to happen before. I had a customer had their they worked on their own car, they left the caliper, one of the caliper bolts loose, and then the caliper was just like stuttering. They're like, I'm getting a stutter noise, and it's the caliper wanting to come off. It was really bad. Okay, so William, what's your question? Your question is, 06 V6 Tacoma overheats when the AC gets turned on, but only really when it's super hot outside. I just assume it's normal because it's super hot. What could it be? So my fiance had this exact same problem. Generally, her car would not overheat, but whenever she put the AC, it would overheat. And you know what it was? Bro, I was checking I was checking everything. I was checking the hoses. I was checking the water pump. Just checking the thermostat. I was checking everything, making sure that this thing was okay. Bro, I should have done, the only thing I didn't do was a pressure test. I was so annoyed. There was a very small pinhole. Very small. You couldn't see it. You really, literally couldn't see it. I couldn't get on the left. I just jacked it up in the air on the ground. There's a very small pinhole leak on the radiator. Underneath, like, the fans right here. The fans right here. The radiator's right here. So, by the fan, where there was a rubber guard right here that you couldn't see. But right here, there's a very small pinhole hole, and it was leaking coolant just ever so slightly at the very bottom of it. And as soon as I changed that radiator out, she didn't have the issue anymore, you know. So that, in our case scenario, that's what was happening for us. But in general, if your car overheating, it's not normal. It shouldn't overheat even if you put the AC. I mean, you know, what I would do is pressure test the system, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure no hoses are leaking, because it could be a leaking coolant hose, it could be a leaking radiator, it could be a thermostat. You know, I doubt it's a thermostat getting stuck, in my opinion. Hopefully it's nothing major like a head gasket or anything of the nature. What should you change water pump and head gaskets when doing a timing chain on a 2.4? Honestly, I wouldn't go with, in my opinion, if it's me, because I don't like creating too much big problem. If you're doing a timing belt, or wait, was it timing belt or timing chain? Oh, it was a timing chain. Oh, that's tough. Timing chains, I really hate timing chains. Honestly, I do the water pump for sure. For sure, do the water pump. No ifs, ands, or buts. Do the damn water pump because you're in there. But you know, the head gasket's a lot more intensive. You're taking off a lot more stuff than just the timing chain. If you have the time, do it. You know, and it hasn't been done before, do it. And it's getting high mileage, do it. But personally, you know, I just do the water pump and the timing chain. I wouldn't go as drastic as doing the head gasket, in my opinion. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss any new questions. I'll get back to the old questions. FRB says change lifters or put in new engine. Give me context. What kind of card is this, man? All right. No problem, William. No problem, man. YK Mechanic says, I'm from the UK. I want to know, how do you go about starting your own workshop? What tools would you need to start up? How much money would you need to spend on tools? And how do you advertise services? That's a very, very intense question. I'll try to break into parts, and I'll try to answer it very quick because I want to answer everyone's questions and get to everyone's questions. So you want to know about how you want to start your own workshop. In general, if I had to start my own workshop, this is what I would do. Before you just go ahead and buy a building and buy a garage and go into it, what I would do, bro, is do mobile mechanic work first. Why I tell you this is go around doing, people's job on mobily, right? And you're going to build a big clientele. You're going to build a good customer base. You're going to get a lot of customers. A lot of customers are going to love your work. They're going to tell their cousins. They're going to tell your brother. They're going to tell their sisters, their friends, everybody, their mom. They're going to tell everybody, and it's going to create good word of mouth. Now, once you build this good client base, what you're going to do is once you're really getting a lot of good work, what you're going to do, Brian, I was about to say Brian. What you're going to do, YK Mechanic, is now you want to start creating the shop. You're going to be like, hey guys, I'm going to start, I'm going to start the process of becoming making a shop for me. So this is where I'm going to be at. And you tell all your clients, all your customers, this is where your shop's going to be at. So now when you open up your shop, you're not stressing like, fuck, I got to worry about a lot of customers coming in and trying to advertise. No, you don't have to worry about none of that. Why? Because you created your good customer base, guys. You want to think ahead. You want to try to spend as little money as possible. Yes, it sounds cool to have your shop right then and there. But what you want to do is build a good client base and then go into the shop. Because if you just go directly into the shop and you don't have enough customers, you're going to be killing yourself just to make ends meet, just to afford the building and for the fees for the, the garage and this and that and recycling and all that, man. So work smart, not hard. Now, tools that you want to invest in is you want to invest in good medium tool. You want, if you can't afford the best of the best, you want to be medium. You don't want to get too cheap. You're a shop now. You're professional. You want to make sure you get the best tools that you need. They're going to work for you, but they're also not going to break the bank. Now, I'm going to be releasing a video this week on the best tools for beginners or for people just starting out. The essential tools that you need as a mechanic, I'm going to be releasing that, okay? It's going to happen this week. I got a pen somewhere here, so I'll try to make it happen. But nonetheless, you guys, that's what you really want to do. And how to advertise your services is just, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Free, get into it. Even if you're not a content creator, start showing your work. Start going, hey guys, I did this bricks this week. Hey guys, I did this. Hey guys, did that. That's the best way you could advertise, and not even pay. I'm not talking about paying Facebook or paying Instagram or paying YouTube. Just do it yourself. It's gonna take longer, but do it yourself. That's the best way to advertise your work. And the best way to also advertise is word of mouth. Ask your friends. Ask any of your friends or relatives if their friends need work on their cars, and to let them know that they have a shop. Everybody needs work. Everybody, most likely that needs work on their cars. So hope this helped, man. Hope this helped. Let me get back to some of the questions. Brian, are you a full-time mechanic? Yes, technically. I work 5 days a week as a mechanic. And then, I do YouTube, and I'm also a full-time dad. So full-time dad, full-time mechanic. And I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I'm a part-time YouTuber. So yeah, it's definitely tiring. I'll tell you that much. No problem, YK Mechanic. All right, so let me get back to some of the old questions. I don't want to skip anybody's questions. Hey guys, if you are just joining in, be sure to drop any of the questions that you may have that you've been wanting to be answered. Drop them. If your question hasn't been answered yet, drop them again as I scroll up to try to find some of you guys' questions. And smash that like button. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, I see a lot of people here in the stream. Smash the like button if you're enjoying the stream, okay? Okay. What should I look out for in a 2017 Hyundai Veloster? I haven't worked on a Veloster for so long. I'm trying to remember the. Oh, so if it's a turbo, if it's a turbo, it's the engine. Because the engines, I see the engines for the Velosters generally go out. But I generally think it's because of lack of maintenance. A lot of people, they might have a small leak by the valve cover. You don't check it, you don't change it, whatever, and they blow the engine. So a lot of times I see that happening. It's usually an engine issue, but it's usually because of customer neglect, in my opinion. But yeah. Hey man, I've learned a lot from you. God bless. No problem, Julio. No problem. Lost 10 millimeters says, about a build you're doing? The build I'm doing is I have a 1989 Toyota Corolla, and I have two, but my main build is a 1989 1988 Toyota Corolla, right-hand drive, imported from Japan. It looks like this, really cool car. Obviously it's not this color, it's a red color, but yeah, it looks like this. This is 1988 Toyota Corolla, right-hand drive, GTZ. It's a Terrano. It used to be 11, but I converted it to a Terrano, and I swapped a USDM NA engine into it. So yeah, it's not a power build. It's mainly going to be a fun car that you could just enjoy. It's going to be stock for now. But yeah, that's kind of my build. I haven't had too much time to work on it, being, YouTube, dad life, mechanic life. J78 says, hey, I finally made it. Fridays are rough. Haha. I feel you, man. No problem, man. I'm glad you joined, Jay. I'm glad you joined. So thank you for joining the live stream. All right. Nary says you're a badass mechanic. Oh, sorry. I said not. You're a bad mechanic, bro. And I learned a lot from you. You're a legend. Keep grinding. No problem, man. I'm happy. Thanks for saying that. I really appreciate the kind of words. And yeah, man. Thanks to you. Chris R says, do you use an impact wrench when tightening the CV axle nut? Yeah, I use the impact wrench. So, if I'll use the impact wrench, I'll zip it on, and then, I'll torque it. So I'll zip it on, and then I'll torque it the rest of the way. So that's what I do. I zip it on lightly, and then torque it to the correct spec. Back in the day when I didn't have a torque wrench, though, I would just zip it as much as I can. Because the worst thing is you do not want that thing to come loose. You really don't want that thing to come loose. God forbid it comes loose. I'd rather it be too tight than too loose. All right, hi Brian. Would an over-tightened handbrake affect the wear of the rear brake pads? Yes, an over-tightened handbrake would affect the rear brake pads. No, parking brakes at least. Anna. I'm just gonna say Anna. Anna says, "What's up, man? Looking for a good 2001 Nissan Altima. Someone tried to steal it. We replaced the ignition, but it won't start. Oh no, he's looking at it. Sorry, I read that wrong. But it won't start. What wants to, but doesn't start. What do you think? Tried to steal it. We replaced the ignition. Check if it's an check it. How to say? If it's an aftermarket ignition, check it out. If it's an aftermarket ignition, it might not be exactly what it needs to be. You might need exactly the OEM one, It could also be, I doubt it because that's 2001, but it might be the immobilizer. You might have to go in there with a scan tool, scan the car, and essentially disable the anti-theft or whatever so it can start the car. Because sometimes you can crank the car over and it just won't come on. Why it won't come on? It's because the anti-theft system is making the car not want to turn on. So just think about it. Just check it out. Dig deeper into it. I haven't worked on 2001 Ultima in a long minute, so I wouldn't really know specifically if it was the immobilizer, if it was, the ignition, or if you need just OEM ignition, So yeah, just something to think about. Mr. Anonymous says, yeah, 5 to 6 fuses missing. Someone tried to make sure my car wasn't running efficiently, or basically... Nah, what they might have done is they disconnected the fuse so they could be like, something's wrong with your car, man. Here, let me fix it for you. It's just this. And they might have been trying to remove the fuses to do you dirty. I hate to say it, but it sounds like it. Unless it was a new mechanic or something, and they're removing the fuses to test them. But if you're removing fuses, you put it back in. You don't just remove all the fuses and not put them back in. So it just sounds like, personally, they were trying to be sketchy with you. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, if you, yeah. So yeah. Bravo Jingo says, do you think Harbor Freight jack beam extension is a good enough to remove a jack beam extension to a fuel tank on jack beam extension? What do you mean by that, Bravo Django? I don't know. A jack beam extension. I gotta look that up. Let me look that up real quick. Let me. Oh, that's me. That's loading too slow. I'll just look it up later. Vela says, "Love you. You're so proud. I'm dead. Thank you." Taco Time says, "Hey, GearheadBryan, hope you have a great weekend." Thank you, man. The Actor 02 says, "Everyone, like the stream or I'm stealing your catalytic converters at night." I love that comment. Yeah, guys, listen to him. If you're not liking the stream, guess what's going to happen? You're just going to see a blue flash, and then all your catalytic converters are going to be gone. Okay? Nary, I'm dead. Oh, I'm way too back into the old questions. Sorry. All right, I'm just gonna answer. All right, later, Echo J. You know, really nice seeing you in the stream, man. Okay, so I'm just gonna answer the most recent comments because I feel bad. My bad, guys. All the old comments, you'll just have to re-ask them. All right, so Tony the Fisherman says, "Hello, Brian. I'm an automotive mechanic and want to switch over to diesel. What's your opinion on that? Switching over to diesel to avoid flat rate in the fleet repair industry." If you're switching over to diesel, awesome, man. You know, I get a lot of, when I, like in general, when I worked at previous shops, I get it so often. People saying, go diesel, go diesel, go diesel. Oh, you need to go diesel. You should work in the diesel. It's great. Diesel industry is great because the money is there. You get your money's worth with diesel. So yes, do it. But realize when you're working on, you know, trucks, you know, bigger trucks, if you're, you know, you're going to put a bigger strain on your body. You're going to work with a lot heavier equipment, You know, so you want to use your tools more than use your body. Use your tools what they are for. You do not want to overextend your body and ruin your body, throw out your back, throw out your legs, whatever. So I highly recommend you doing diesel. Go for it. However, take care of your body. And this is for all mechanics. Take care of your body, guys. Take care of your body, and your body will take care of you. If you guys keep abusing your body and not wearing gloves and just, you know, and, you know, like, how to say it, just shedding on your body and not really taking care of it and just abusing yourself and just working on your knees and not using knee pads and working on the floor and this and that, you're going to feel it later. You're going to get arthritis in the hands. You're going to get bad knees. You're going to throw out your back. If you try manhandling a transmission and putting it in, you know, to the proper spot without the hoist, you're going to have a bad day. You're going to throw out your back. Guys, play smart, work smart, not hard. All right, let's see the most recent comments. Solid advice, boss man. Appreciate it, man. Okay, Old West says, when doing a piston ring leak test, if you put coolant in the piston and it's gone in 2 days, is that normal? What are you talking about? Are you talking about like filling, like pulling? Are you talking about like, are you talking about putting coolant into the cylinders and then waiting till it leaks out after 2 days? Is that what you're talking about? The real one says, I share your tips with my customers all the time. That's so cool, man. All right, guys, I'm going to be answering a little bit more questions because I got to go in 2 minutes, okay? But, let's see. All right, let's see. Thanks for liking the videos, man. Nays the Zell. Okay, so his question is, what is a good project car for off-road or project truck? I don't know any good project trucks personally. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really don't know. I mean, a Tacoma would be a good truck. I'm not a truck guy, so I don't know. Tacoma, I mean, Raptors are cool. I mean, that's an expensive car though. Tacomas, I'd say an off-roading car in general, Subaru would be awesome. Like Subaru WRX, that would be sick. You know, that would be cool. So I'd say do something like that. Best universal cam lock. Are you talking about for locking the camshafts? Is that what you're talking about? Send all your great okay, son. Send all your great vibes, your quick tips. Have cut my diag and repair times by many hours. Oh, fudge! I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry that that's happening to you, man. I'm really sorry, guys. Send prayers to my boy Shan. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering the name. Logzilla says, I'm going to a community college in the fall for automotive. Do you think it's possible for me to get a job apprentice in the months until then? In a couple months? Wait, how long? Wait. In fall for automotive. So what do you mean, like a summer job? Just a summer job? Like, when's it happening exactly? Is it happening in October? Is it happening, you know what I mean? Give me an exact date. But it might not be possible. But you could, okay, there's a couple of things you could do. You could go to a mom and pop shop, be like, hey, I'm starting college and this day, can I be apprenticed for you guys until then? Even, you know, even offer like, yeah, like it sucks if you want to get paid, but be like, hey, I'll work for free. I just want to learn. I just want to learn, you know, or, you know, and, you know, I'll do, you know, I just want to learn until I go into college, you know? Obviously, if you can't, you know, just rely on no money, then be like, hey, can I work for you guys until this time, blah, 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 blah. Or if you could, you know, I know a lot of, like, at least lube tech shops. Like, obviously, it's a lube tech position. It's different. But I know a lot of lube shops will let you do that. You know, so auto technician jobs at, like, Pep Boys, at I'm trying to think where else. Firestone, stuff like that. They'll let you do that. So, yeah. I'm going to do one more question. I got to drop out of here, guys. Where in the Rust Belt are you from? I'm in the Midwest near Chicago. I'm exactly where you are, J78, and it is very rusty in here indeed. I get comments all the time, people saying, oh, you're not in the Rust Belt. Must be nice. Guys, I'm in the Rust Belt more than you could think, and I get rust more often than you can think, and it's horrible. So I get that so often. I'm right here with you, bro. And for universal cam locks, I don't have a go-to one off the top of my head. I generally just use a lot of, actually, I'll try to see if I could, I have one that I use sometimes. I'll try to see if I could send, do you have an Instagram? If you have an Instagram, message me on Instagram, and I could send you a link to it. To the one that I do use. I rarely ever use it. Okay, okay, this is the last question, guys. What's up? Samuel said, what's up, man? I got hired recently at local dealerships, getting hired as a porter. I'm going to get moved into the shop within a couple months. What is the best advice that you can give? Thanks. Be open-minded. Be very open-minded. So you're finally getting your opportunity, your shot to be in the shop. When you get into the shop, be open-minded. Realize you're going to learn a lot of things from a lot of different people. You know, you want to think outside of the box for everything. Whatever job that you get that you're working on that's yours, you want to think about it at different angles. If you get frustrated, take a few minutes back, come back at it. Or if you still can't get it after a few minutes back, go to the best tech there, go to the second best, or anybody who's higher up than you that knows what they're doing, ask them, hey man, I'm having trouble. What do I do? You know, especially in that. So feel free to ask questions. That's the best tips I can give you. Ask questions. Be open-minded to things. And do not buy stuff from the tool truck exclusively. you can buy from the tool truck, especially if it's a good deal, and research it. But do not fall into the fever that everybody in the shop that goes with you, most of them will be buying stuff out of tool truck. It'll be tempting. It'll only be $20 every week or $20 every paycheck. Forget that. Don't do that. If you're getting something off tool truck, make sure it's worth your while and make sure you need it, you know? Make sure you really need it. If not, it's not worth your while. Don't go for it. But anyway, so yeah, that's my best advice. Don't get stuff from the tool truck if you don't need it. You know, there's plenty of other great, perfect, awesome brands that you can get off of the tool truck that are way cheaper and actually good brands. So, or used. So, all right. So, I don't make a video, cam, gear, locks, no Insta, no, or Facebook. Dan, that sucks, man, if you don't have neither. But yeah, I'll try to make a video on it, man. Make sure you pay for it. Oh, yeah, or make sure you pay for it out of pocket. Yeah. Try to pay for most of your tools out of pocket. Awesome. You're, Brian said, Nick Williams says, Brian, you're awesome. You're welcome. And I appreciate you. I just wanted to let you know. Thanks for all the automotive informational content. No problem, man. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Every single Friday, I go on YouTube Live. So be sure to join next Friday. Now, sometimes there'll be random days where I might live stream on a Sunday or on a Saturday at the end of the day. So keep posted for your notifications. If I live stream, you'll get a notification for it. But good night, guys. Thank you guys all for joining the live stream. Thank you, Chase, for saying good night. Thank you guys all. I love you all equally. And thank you guys so much. I really hope this helped. Catch you guys in the next live stream. Peace. Good night.